Hello, happy Saturday, and welcome to this week's mini episode. I am pre-recording a few episodes because I have some travels coming up, and so I'm recording this while I still have a cold. So I'm sorry, you're going to have to deal with my nasally sick voice for a few episodes to come, and I truly apologize about that, but hopefully you can bear with me and get through these few episodes with my disgusting sick voice. But thank you for being here. And in today's mini episode, we're going to be talking about how sobriety is normal. And it's actually weird that we have to explain why we don't add a substance to our lives. We are living in the natural, normal state, how we were designed to live. And I hope this will help shift your mentality around sobriety, your perspective on sobriety, and just make you realize that you're doing great, you're awesome, you shouldn't have to overly explain why you're choosing to do this. It is normal, and this is how we're designed to live. So let's get into the episode. Welcome to Hold My Drink, a sobriety podcast. This is a no judgment zone. I really freaking like my life without alcohol. You're not alone. I hope you feel seen. Sobriety has changed my life completely. All right, so I have thought about this topic so many times in my sobriety. Why do we even have to call it sober or sobriety? Because we are just living. We are not adding anything to our lives. It should be called a drinker when you're describing somebody who drinks. That's a drinker. They're adding something to their life. They're putting something into their body extra. Whereas if you're just living off of water and food and how we're designed to live, just in the natural state, unaltered, why is there even a name for that? And that's what kind of blows my mind, is that this is normal. Not drinking alcohol is the normal way to live. And hopefully this can shift your mentality a little bit around sobriety. It's weird that we have to explain all the time why we choose not to put a substance into our body. It's shouldn't you explain why you do put a substance into your body? Why do you drink? In fact, maybe if I'm feeling really sassy, maybe that should be my response when people ask me why I don't drink. I'll just say, why do you drink? Because truly, it's this is being human. Sober is being human. The human race was not designed to be constantly altered by a substance. We are designed and built to function without alcohol. And adding that substance into your life will only harm you physically. Our bodies are not designed to have poison dumped into it constantly. That's a bit extreme, but I'm just saying that the natural human state is sober. So again, why is there even a word? It's so funny. That's how accepted drinking has become in society, is that there is now a word for if you don't drink. It's funny how you don't call people a non-smoker or, a non-drug user or whatever. What's the word for that? I guess sober also, but sober is kind of strongly linked to alcohol. So what's the word for you don't do drugs, or you don't self-harm, or you don't get tattoos, or you know what I mean? All these things that you can add to your life, whether they're good things or bad things or whatever. What are the words for when you don't put substances into your body? It's very interesting to think about all this. Psychologically, it's just funny that there is this clear word for people who don't drink, sober. But there's not a lot of clear words for people who don't do other things with their bodies, to their bodies, because that is just considered the normal human state. And then if you put tattoos on your body, you are tatted. If you put drugs into your body, you're a druggie or whatever. But there's not these words for just living in the natural state, because people kind of understand that you're designed to be in the natural state. It just gets my mind wondering and thinking and about just human nature and why it's gotten to this point. And it's just so interesting to think about. And I think that should give us kind of some comfort and maybe even a little ego boost. about like we are living how we're designed to be living. And that is a really beautiful thing. We're not putting extra things into our body. We're not altering our state at all. We are just living. And there doesn't need to be this word sober for it. I use the word sober. I'm comfortable with that word. You call yourself whatever you want, a non-drinker, a regular human, whatever you want to call yourself, you do that. I use the word sober a lot, but then I'm like, why do I need that word? I'm just living. And the number of times that it comes up, like, I don't drink. Do you have any non-alcoholic beverages? Like, why don't I drink? This is why. Like, we have to talk about it so much. And it's just funny to think about psychologically why we have to explain why we don't do something. I don't often have the conversation of why I don't smoke cigarettes. Pretty rarely. Sometimes people will say, have you ever smoked a cigarette? And I'll be like, no, I haven't. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, it's never a conversation. Why don't you go up to every single person in the bar or on an outdoor patio and say, why don't you smoke cigarettes? Like, we don't say that. So it's interesting that we have to actively say, why don't you drink? Interesting thing to think about. And like I said, it should give you a little ego boost. Like, you are just living in the natural state. You are living as we're designed. You are normal. Sobriety is normal. And you can feel very ostracized in sobriety a lot of times. You can feel like the only one who's not drinking. You can feel weird for being the sober person in the room. But it's funny because you're actually the most normal one in the room. Try to shift your mind to that. Instead of being like, wow, I'm the only one who doesn't drink. I'm so weird. I'm so out there. It's actually everyone else is kind of weird for putting that substance into their body. And you're just normal. You are just living, unaltered by anything else. So it's not a negative thing to be sober. It's hardly even a positive thing. It's just what it is. It's just living life in the normal state, unaltered. I think it's a lot easier to stomach sobriety if you're not like, oh my God, sobriety is going to completely change my life. I'm going to become such a better person. I'm going to be way healthier. I'm going to lose weight. My skin's going to get better. Like, my entire life is going to change and it's going to be the best thing in the entire world. Like, instead of thinking that you're going to be this like Hercules star, incredible, maybe let's just think about how we're just going to be normal. Like, it is normal to live in a sober state. And like I said, there are so many positives and you should feel like a freaking superstar when you get sober, but that's a separate conversation. I'm just saying that sobriety is normal. How many times have I said that this episode? An unreal amount of times. But hopefully it makes you just feel comfortable with sobriety. You're just achieving a normal lifestyle. Your emotions will kind of even themselves out. You will feel in control of your behavior, in control of your emotions. You'll feel less impulsive. You'll spend less money in crazy places. Everything will just be a bit more consistent and stable and normal. The theme of this episode, normality. Anyway, hope this got you thinking a little bit. It is a really interesting topic to think about, how there's this special word for people who don't drink. So interesting, and what a world we live in. So I hope that you can feel just like comfortable in your sobriety and not feel like you're doing something crazy and out of the norm and standing out. You're really just living a normal life. And with that said, I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye.